get free Palestine. And I dang near got kicked out the league for it. And I'm like trying to figure out why. So I tweet free Palestine. Less than 10 minutes after I tweet that, I get a call from the commissioner of the NBA.
Stop it.
Agents, people working with my foundation at the time, Texas, you gotta erase this tweet. You gotta take this down. You're gonna get it. I'm like, what did I do that was so bad?
Can somebody explain to me?
Yeah, can somebody explain, you know?
Whatever you're saying.
I'm saying we hear Schofield Bible brought up constantly now. That's where Christian Zionism came from. So when I was a kid and Hal Lindsey and all the Left Behind, remember Left Behind?
Yes.
With Kirk Cameron from Growing Pains?
Yes.
All of that is some kind of weirdo psyop Christianity, and it's called dispensationalism. So all those gross churches that people make clips of now and try to catch video of them turning into a lizard, which is very popular now. That's all those CIA kind of psyop Christian churches. And Mike Johnson, Harry Potter of Louisiana, is there to sacrifice a red heifer that they snuck in under like pet laws because you're not allowed to export heifers to Israel. I'm not sure why.
So
anyway,
he's committing a trafficking crime
of cattle. I just watched Ryan Grimm haltingly report on this.
I like his comedy.
Who?
Right.
Like Johnson? Oh. No, it's just like, what? Dude, you don't know what this is? The red heifer? I've heard this nonsense for like 30 years. He's like, what is this? They're all in on it, dude. You don't know that? They're all in on it, Ryan.
Yeah, I see here an AI overview. It says red heifers and their significance in the rebuilding of the Third Temple are a topic of interest within certain religious communities, particularly those who interpret biblical prophecies literally. Some believe a perfect red heifer is a prerequisite for the construction of the Third Temple in Jerusalem, which in turn is seen as a key event in the end times prophecies for some Jews and Christians. You know what?
Yeah, let me stop you right there. No, it's not from the Bible. I had to read the Bible a lot. That's not a thing that was a big deal in the Bible. There's a quote, I can't remember what scripture it is in Hebrew scriptures, about something they did before they built the temple that someone is taking and making it into something it's not. And really where it comes from is Talmudic Kabbalah bullshit. So that's where it comes from. It's not really Christian. It's part of that weird John Darby dispensationalist Christian thing, which has always been some fake heresy. And I think Chris Hedges talks about it too, by the way.
Well, he went to divinity school.
Chris Hedges knows about it. I know he does. But when I was a Jehovah and I would knock on doors and I would argue with my little born-again friends growing up.
You would do that?
Oh, yeah.
You knocked on doors?
Oh, certainly.
To get people to come to Jesus?
Well, it's to see if they want to study the Bible and become Christian, I guess. But you have to understand, most people don't want to do that. But if you happen to catch somebody who's right in the moment, is like, I need that, that's what they're looking for. That's what any religion's looking for. You're not going to convince somebody to be something. It convicts your heart, not your head, as they say in many evangelical denominations.
What do they say?
It convicts your heart, not your head.
Oh.
So you would see it like, oh, well, look out, joining a cult. That would be one of the things. Like you're in a space where you would be receptive to hearing some. That's just how anything works. So that's how people join religions. So that's why, they go all these upper class, what do you call them, toffs in British there that are into Hinduism and Buddhism because they're rich kids. They love that like Lexapro type religion.
Lexapro, not a bad religion.
It's like, I'm cool with this. the religion. It is what it is, the religion.
I got a text here.
Are you setting a bomb off? What's going on?
Who's a text from?
It's the that tweet about the ex-CIA expert Carlos Metzgarante.
That's right. I was.
Cover got blown during that podcast, huh?
Yeah, we were talking about that fallen wig of the WNBA, and I was dressed like Carlos Bustamante, my favorite ex-CIA expert. He's got that big curly hair. I tried to do a duplicate in like a Caucasian way, and I had my LGBTQ CIA shirt on. That Max Blumenthal coined that phrase, as far as I know.
Oh, bless you.
What?
Here comes my dog.
Oh.
It was me. I was sneezing. I know. Thank you, baby.
Boy.
Whenever I sneeze,
dog.
my dog comes in to check on me.
I mean, she's very attentive, but I have to say, she forgets she knows me every time I see her. It gets real guardy.
I would pick her up more again. Oh. My guy. What happened here?
What happened to Kurt?
I don't know.
I'm here.
Hold on.
You don't see me? Should I come back in?
No, you're good. You're good.
Oh.
Maybe with the doggy. All right, doggy, come here.
House committee subpoenas the Clintons and several top former Department of Justice officials over testimony about Jeffrey Epstein. Wow. If I'm not mistaken, we got ourselves an old-fashioned "you hung out with Epstein more" contest.
This is the revenge of Trump. Well, let's get everybody's Epstein stuff out.
Whatever happened to this puts a whole new spin on the lazy left's gaslighting mantra for years. But her emails, remember that? Yeah, exactly. But her goddamn emails.
Yeah.
Every gotcha the phony left bludgeoned everybody else with is now turning around and biting the hand that made them. And
why wouldn't they do that?
Why would here? Look, so there it is. New photos of this is from 2020. New photos of Bill Clinton getting massaged from Epstein. And by the way, look at the restorative powers that a massage can provide. Look at him.
Yeah.
Look. Compare a shot of him standing next to of this picture, and then a picture of him standing next to energy vampire Hillary.
Oh my goodness, it's quite a difference, isn't it?
A massage? That's not even in the top 10 worst things Bill Clinton has done to a woman.
Yeah, what?
That's like the 2000th thing on the list of bad interactions with a woman that Clinton had. I'm going to bet.
I will bet too. I'll bet all Hawk-Tuah coin that I have left.
So remember that? There it is. There he is getting the massage in the air. That was the plane.
Yeah, that's
going
all he
to
needs.
getting to go on the Lolita Express. And here's my conspiracy theory. She's the one who actually killed Jeffrey Epstein by giving his neck a crack during a prison massage. That's my guess.
Oh, that's a very good point.
And by the way, they fact-checked these. Yahoo fact-checked Yahoo News. And yep, those are real photos of Shantae Davies giving Bill Clinton a massage. And she's an Epstein accuser, by the way. And
why would I need a fact check on a picture that came out before AI?
And to my Hollywood shallowcrats, I call them shallowcrats now.
Yeah.
Claiming that the Democrats are not involved in this, you're just a bunch of venal, selfish pigs. How about that?
Is that even a thing? There are people pretending Democrats were not involved.
Yes. And why do they do that? Because, Kurt, they'd rather leave the door open to work for those people working for the Epstein people than to do what's right. You're not pure evil and you're not remotely good. You're just nothing. Okay?
Yeah, that's right.
And that's where your opinion gets filled from here on in. That's how. Anyway. Remember this picture? So
yeah.
that's Chelsea's wedding. There's Ghislaine.
Oh.
By the
Now,
way-
not to be mean, but Chelsea was never in any danger, is what I heard.
By the way, doesn't Ghislaine sound like an address for a whorehouse? Am I right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just a
That's
couple of
true.
miles around the bend at 1313 Ghislaine.
yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like.
So this is happening. By the way, that's nice that he invited his masseuse's master to the wedding. Isn't that nice?
Ghislaine, it means cum gutters.
Jesus. So this is happening. This is really happening.
Oh, let's get it all out there, I say.
The House committee investigating the Epstein case issued subpoenas Tuesday for President Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, and several top former Justice Department officials. The House Oversight Committee announced it had sent out the deposition subpoenas to the Clintons, former Attorney General Loretta Lynch, Eric Holder, William Barr, Merrick Garland, Jeff Sessions, and Alberto Gonzales. And that was the Attorney
Gonzo.
General under George Bush.
Who? Yeah, he legalized torture. I think he was the final.
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
he the guy?
Yeah, he was.
Pranked him on Sacha Baron Cohen's show.
Oh, really?
And Sasha was doing his libtard character. He had a reptard and libtard. And with the joke that I came up with was he thinks that this guy used to work for the cartels. So he's being really nice. Like I got it from Sean Penn talking to El Chapo.
Oh,
And so he's being very nice to the guy, but then he realizes he worked for Bush and gets all mad at him. They called him El Generalissimo. This is the Attorney General.
so
And he
why
kept telling
would
him there was a masturbation booth.
why
that
would
he
they
could
be
use.
why would they be subpoenaing Alberto Gonzales? Because when Jeffrey Epstein was actually prosecuted in Florida, it was in 2008. And the guy who was in charge of prosecuting Jeffrey Epstein gave him a sweetheart deal. Remember that? Everybody was like, why did you give him a sweetheart deal? And he said, because I was told that Jeffrey Epstein is intelligence and he was above my pay grade. And so the only person that could tell a prosecutor in Florida that would be the attorney general. And the only person that would tell the attorney general that would. So that's who Alberto Gonzales. The president. So the president told the attorney general to go easy on Epstein. So that's why they're subpoenaing Alberto Gonzales, who was the attorney general under George Bush, because he was the one who gave the A-OK for the sweetheart deal for Jeffrey Epstein. So they're subpoenaing him. Also, former FBI directors James Comey and Robert Mueller for testimony related to horrific crimes perpetrated by Jeffrey Epstein. Committee Chairman James Comer, he's a Republican from Kentucky, he also issued a subpoena to the Justice Department for records related to Epstein, a convicted sex offender who was found dead in his jail cell in 2019 while he was awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges. That subpoena directs the Justice Department to turn over the full, complete, unredacted Epstein file to the committee on or before August 19th, 2025. That's coming up. You know what this means, don't you? It means that they're getting ready for everything from earthquakes to tsunamis to large space objects to mass shootings, frogs, locusts, and as the elite run out the last of their table magic to try to distract you. That's what's coming.
It's always right on the edge of telling you something real, but never something real.
You're right.
So they go, Clinton got a massage. Oh, wow.
Oh. The Justice Department has faced furious backlash after it announced last month. But by the way, let me show you real quick that Whitey Webb has weighed in on this, and let's see what Whitey says.
But more importantly, I would argue than either of those things.
Oh wait, hang on. All right, this is it.
But the big giveaway here about that, if the Clintons are subpoenaed and forced to testify or whatever, or if Ghislaine is asked about them, is that Republicans are not going to touch one very important aspect of the Epstein-Clinton relationship with a 10-foot pole, and that is Jeffrey Epstein's 17 visits to the Clinton White House between 1993 and 1995. They will not touch that. And there is a reason why mainstream media has worked so hard to have all the scandalous coverage of Epstein and Clinton be after Clinton left office. No focus on when he was in office. And the same is true also, I've argued in the past about Bill Gates, because they won't talk about his relationship with Epstein until he was no longer involved as chairman of Microsoft. So they want the pressure off of Microsoft. They want the pressure off of what was Epstein doing at the Clinton White House, because it's really, I would argue, ultimately boils down to what I see as sort of the second coming of Iran-Contra in the mid-90s, same network, involved with this very crazy effort that's remembered as Chinagate today, but it really has a lot to do with U.S. and Israeli intelligence, who, of course, were the bedfellows of Iran-Contra, and some of the connections they made to major Chinese weapons dealers and organized crime-like figures in Macau, and you know, weird things there that involved a lot of military technology transfer from the U.S. to China. Israel very involved in this, and it was even, you know, the CIA like acknowledged that in the early 90s, but nothing was done to really stop anything. And they don't really want to talk about that at all. Even though it involves China, it involves Clinton. You think it would be the perfect story for Trump, but no, they won't touch it. And I write a lot about it very extensively in my book, Chinagate, if you'd like more detail on why that would be so bad for both parties.
So this seems to be more show, right, Kurt?
It's unbelievable. Because, you know, Dugin, his dad was the lawyer that sued when the Chamber of Commerce on that plane in the Chinagate thing, Ron Brown, DNC chair, they were about to testify about that. And then for some reason, they loaded up the entire Chamber of Commerce onto a plane, which never happens. We had Whitney on talking about it. And the plane crashes, and Ron Brown had a bullet hole in his head, all kinds of suspicious things. And the people at the, the flight terminal, were found hung and shot in the chest, like a couple of Clinton dead bodies were found. And then Kyle's dad died of a brain tumor shortly after winning the lawsuit with the airline. And when we had Whitney on, I couldn't believe that it was even connected, but it's because of Ron Brown. So that was all Chinagate, and that was purposely leaving them tech for whatever reason. That's what that had to do with.
And so that had to do with getting, so that had to do with the Mossad, Israeli intelligence, the CIA, arms, weapons transfers from China involving China and Israel, and the Clintons and the government, the CIA. Yeah, you would think that they would want to get this out, but no, because it indicts everybody. So it indicts everybody in both parties, in the CIA, in the Mossad, in the United States government, and the people who actually are the people giving the orders to the president. It involves them. And so what do you mean there's people giving orders to the president? Well, here's Whitey to tell you who actually is above the president and is actually above the CIA and the Mossad. Here we go.
But more importantly, I would argue than either of those things is the fact that my book really argues, and this is why Volume 1 even exists, that what we're dealing with here is not really even state agencies. It's the power structure above them. It's a transnational oligarchy that represents the union between the people that created the intelligence agencies, mostly bankers, right, and Wall Street lawyers, with organized crime, and how that continues to manifest and inform the oligarchy of today and our reality and our power structures. And so ultimately the book is very anti-duopoly.
So that's who's really running things. It's the international. Well, let's listen to her say it again.
But more importantly, I would argue than either of those things is the fact that my book really argues, and this is why Volume 1 even exists, that what we're dealing with here is not really even state agencies. It's the power structure above them. It's a transnational oligarchy.
Transnational oligarchy that's above the intelligence community, that's above the president, transnational oligarchy that's above those people. Just as Curtis made that point several times on the show, that Donald Trump he has a boss too.
Yeah.
And so she's telling you,
blowing it up. Yep.
She's telling you who it is right now. It's an international oligarchy and the intelligence agencies that were created by the international bankers and Wall Street lawyers. So the business people, the people who really, if you watch, there's a show called Mr. Robot.
Yeah, that had a lot of stuff in it.
If you watch that, I just started watching it. It was used to be on USA. It premiered on USA Network. Now it's on Netflix. And if you watch that, it shows you how the business people are the people who actually pull the strings. They're the ones who actually get in the TV show. They're getting the Congo. They're getting the UN to approve China annexing the Congo, so they can. Yes. So, and they needed a vote on that in the UN, and the head of E Corp, which is short for Evil Corp, which would be like the modern day Blackwater or BlackRock. I mean, or State Street or Vanguard. That person. All of them. Yeah, that person in this series is the one who's dictating things, and it's not politicians, and so that's what she just told you there, right there. It's a trans.
But more importantly, I would argue than either of those things is the fact that my book really argues, and this is why Volume 1 even exists, that what we're dealing with here is not really even state agencies. It's the power structure above them. It's a transnational oligarchy.
The power structure above state agencies. The power structure above the CIA, above the FBI, above the NSA, above the State Department.
Yeah,
above
the Royals.
Above the White House. The power structure above those things. And it's international.
Power structure above them. It's a transnational oligarchy that represents the union between the people that created the intelligence agencies, mostly bankers, right, and Wall Street lawyers, with organized crime, and how that continues to manifest and inform the oligarchy of today and our reality and our power structures. And so ultimately the book is very anti-duopoly. I go after both parties, and, unfortunately my feeling is that Ian...
Okay, so it's a duopoly, and those are the questions they're not going to ask. They're not going to ask. So even though they're doing this big show, this House committee is doing a big show of bringing in all these people, and they want all the unredacted files. According to our good friend Whitey, and if anybody should know, she would. They're not going to ask the important questions. They're not going to ask about what about Jeffrey Epstein's 17 trips to the White House when Bill Clinton was president. They're going to focus on all the stuff he did after Bill Clinton was president, just like they focused on all the stuff that Bill Gates did after Microsoft.
Wait, why don't we go back to when George and H.W. and Reagan were in office, and there was the D.C. callboy scandal with 17 and up.
Remember that?
Number of visits from male prostitutes, because all of them were secretly gay.
Remember that?
This stuff comes out every 7 to 10 years. This comes out, and everybody moves on and forgets about it. So don't forget about this one, because look up. Here's a great documentary you should find on YouTube about Gary Dore. He was that Hollywood writer that wrote Raw Deal with Schwarzenegger and Running Scared with Gregory Hines and Billy Crystal, the cop movie. And he was writing a movie about Panama. Remember Noriega when they went in and invaded Panama? Well, did you know Noriega, and it was in like one newspaper around the world, they buried it. Noriega had all these secret tapes of very high up U.S. presidents with underage prostitutes.
Really?
So this trick of videotaping people, what do you think? Epstein's the first guy? This has been a thing that since you could record video has been going on. So Noriega, they took him out because some paper reported it and then it went away and they got him out of there. But this goes back a long time. And Trump, this is what I'm so disappointed about with Trump. What I hoped was he was going to blow the whole thing up, but he's not. He's going to try to keep the stupid structure by these evil deviants that run things and try to make a deal where the tariffs are good. That's all he's going to do.
Which is why he was allowed to become president. And
Yeah.
they made a good show, Kurt. They made a really good show of fooling people like me into thinking that they were really, the deep state was aligned against Donald Trump. It certainly looked that way. It looked like they were trying to kill him.
Part of it is.
And-
it's like the mafia. They have families. They compete. It's eugenics at the end of the day.
Yeah. So there was also a big faction of the deep state that was okay with Donald Trump becoming president. And how do I know that? Because he was allowed to become president. That's why. Because they didn't.
Now, do you believe? I mean, when you watch the show they're putting on, it's so insane.
He's still
it's so beyond. Yeah.
He's still funding Ukraine. He's still funding a genocide. He's gonna. He's helping to ethnically cleanse Gaza of all the Palestinians. He's doing all that. He's doing everything. He's bombing.
He mistakenly mentioned it. We covered him going,
yeah,
they're starving. And that was a mistake. He probably wasn't supposed to say
He
that.
probably wasn't supposed to say they're starving. So I'll get back to, here's a little bit more from this story from NBC News. The Justice Department has faced furious backlash after it announced last month that after its review of Epstein's case, no other people were expected to be charged and no further information about the case would be released. The cover letter to the former president calls for him to sit for a deposition on October 14th to answer questions about his relationship with Epstein. Wow. And I'm sure they're going to get to the bottom of it this time. As opposed to all the other times when everything just kind of evaporated and fizzled away. I'm sure this time, though, I mean, if they walk into that courtroom and then walk out a free, I don't know. Well, if there's a court case over this and then they get out of it free, then I guess that just settles it. And that makes the entire issue blow away like a dandelion.
That's what they do every time. They almost tell you the big thing.
They almost,
right?
Yeah.
We're going to, UFOs. Epstein. And then you get right to the end, and then we just change topics.
Yep.
Every time.
By your own admission, you flew on Jeffrey Epstein's private plane 4 separate times in 2002 and 2003, Comer wrote to President Clinton. You were also allegedly close to Ms. Ghislaine Maxwell, on Epstein co-conspirator, and attended an intimate dinner with her in 2014, 3 years after public reports about her involvement in Mr. Epstein's abuse of minors. The letter said, misspelling the first name of Ghislaine Maxwell, I think they used the J.I., who is serving a 20-year prison sentence for her role in helping Epstein abuse teenage girls. The Comer letter also says there are conflicting reports about whether you ever visited Mr. Epstein's island. Clinton has denied ever going to Epstein's private island, where some of the abuse is alleged to have occurred. President Donald Trump, who also once had a friendly relationship with Epstein and Maxwell, alleged Clinton had gone to the island 28 times. But Donald Trump provided no proof of this claim. Really?
You know, I have
really?
to say this. I think it's poor writing that they call it abuse. I don't know why they're not describing it deeper.
Yeah.
Sexual abuse,
Well,
human trafficking.
they do say sexual. I just don't say the sexual word when I'm reading it.
Oh, okay.
Because it'll trigger an algorithm and it might demonetize it.
Oh, okay.
That's normal, right? That you can't talk about a literal crime anymore.
You can't.
That's a normal society we live in.
Yeah.
That's better than China.
Yeah.
Of course we're better, because you can't even say the name of a crime that is ubiquitous across this great nation, Jimmy.
That it's being committed by the people at the tippy top of government.
I have to say, grape, here in the land of the free, the West, that's better than China. I can't say fuck you enough to people like that.
I like how the letter says there are conflicting reports about whether you have visited Mr. Epstein's island. So by conflicting reports, do you mean that everybody who says he was on the island has turned up dead? You mean like that kind of conflicting? And only the ones who say he was not there or still remain alive? A little conflict of interest, like that kind of conflicting reports? You mean like that?
Yeah.
And Angel Urena, which, wow, a spokesperson for the that's her name, Angel Urena.
I know.
This is a joke. The whole goddamn thing's a joke all the time now.
She said,
Urena.
I'm going to guess that's a woman, Angel's Urena. Could be a guy.
It's an infection I had one time.
So I certainly
tract.
Yeah, I had to put a stent in from my bladder for that.
Yeah.
I had an Angel Urena. She said in a statement in 2019 that Clinton knows nothing about the terrible crimes Epstein was charged with. He said Clinton so it is a guy.
He knows nothing?
He said Clinton traveled on Epstein's plane 4 times while he was traveling to work for the Clinton Foundation, and that foundation staffers and Secret Service personnel accompanied him on the trips. He has not spoken to Epstein in well over a decade, the statement said. Really?
Jimmy, if your alibi is the Clinton Foundation, you're guilty.
He has not spoken to Epstein in well over a decade. Really? You mean like Angel Urea? Angel does not want to be involuntarily sent to join the choir, so to speak, if you know what I mean. The letters to the former Attorney General and FBI director say the committee wants to question By the way, you could hear all my hilarious jokes about this. And coming up, I'll be in Rutherford, New Jersey. I'll be at the Village Underground in Manhattan. And then we'll be in Calgary, Edmonton, and Vancouver. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. The FBI and the former Attorney General have said the committee wants to question them about decisions made in the Epstein case over the years, including his 2008 non-prosecution agreement with the U.S. Attorney's Office in Florida. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what we were just talking about with Alberto Gonzalez and the 2008 case where they prosecuted Jeffrey Epstein, but he got a sweetheart deal. That's what that's about. Not included in the current batch of recipients of subpoenas. So this is who they're not subpoenaing. So they're going to subpoena Alberto Gonzalez, who gave the order to not prosecute Jeffrey Epstein in 2008 or give him a sweetheart deal. But they're not going to, guess what? They're not going to subpoena the guy who was in charge, which is a guy named Alex Acosta. He was, so he was the U.S. attorney who was prosecuting Epstein, this guy Alex Acosta. He is not subpoenaed. He was the guy who gave the sweetheart deal. He was the guy who said that I was told that Jeffrey Epstein is intelligence, or Epstein is intelligence, and that it's above my pay grade. They're not going to subpoena that guy. Isn't that isn't that hilarious?
Yeah.
He was Trump's former labor secretary, by the way. And he was the guy who fake prosecuted Jeffrey Epstein. And he became Trump's labor secretary. Is it?
Nice.
Chagrin. Acosta resigned his cabinet post days after Epstein was charged again in 2019. Isn't that interesting? This is all very interesting things. These are all very interesting. He made a deal that people were happy with, and then 12 years later, we're not happy with it, Trump said at the time. Nobody was happy with it. You know who was happy with it? The deep state, you, Bill Clinton, and Jeffrey Epstein was happy with it. The victims weren't happy with it. Nobody who knew anything about it was happy with it. Trump directed Attorney General Pam Bondi to produce any and all pertinent grand jury testimony in the Epstein and Maxwell cases last month, hours after the Wall Street Journal reported that Trump had sent a bawdy 50th birthday letter to Epstein in 2003. Bawdy. Oh my God, we don't tolerate Nancy Pants rivalry around here.
Were there strumpets about?
NBC,
that letter is bullshit, dude. It's a fake. It's a play.
It looks like a fake letter. It looks like
no, it's not fake. It's from a booklet with a bunch of people that they didn't want to release those people to. So that's why it's a dialogue on the letter. How would that be a real letter where Epstein
they
has
talk
a line
back and forth?
Yeah. That is a book. That's a page taken out of a book that they didn't release the rest of. And it's like one of those, like, I had relatives that did that once, sent a play about themselves for Christmas. It's something like that, but they didn't release the other people and they put it out as a letter. Because it's bizarre that there's a back and forth in a letter. It's not an email exchange.
And NBC News has not independently verified that letter that we're talking about, that they said that the Wall Street Journal said that Trump sent to Jeffrey Epstein, which you're now saying wasn't a letter, it was in a book. And Trump
part of a much bigger thing.
And Trump denied sending such a letter. So when NBC News says they have not independently verified the document, it just means they made shit up in the office because they were really busy.
They're usually really reliable, so I find it
They're
surprising.
so reliable, NBC News. Just listen to everything they said about Russiagate, everything they said about the DNC server and Julian Assange and Syria and Ukraine and COVID and Joe
Iraq.
Biden's dementia. They're very reliable, NBC News. But the people you have to look out for are randos on YouTube. That's who you got to look out for. Not
Yeah.
NBC News that has lied to you about every major story in your life. They
We should
lied
have a
about
contest.
They lied about Iraq twice. They lied
Yeah.
about Libya. They lied about Afghanistan for 20 years. They lied about Russiagate. They lied about the DNC server. They lied about Seth Rich. They lied about Julian Assange. They lied about COVID, Ukraine, Joe Biden's dementia. There wasn't a thing, Hunter Biden's laptop, and there wasn't a thing they didn't lie about.
Name a thing. This is a good contest.
Yes.
A major story that has turned out to be true from any of the mainstream reliable sources you could think of. I can't think of a single one, Jimmy.
Me neither.
It should be more than nothing, right?
It should be. Judges are weighing Bondi's subsequent request to unseal the testimony. In a court filing this week, the administration asked for more time to consider whether it would also seek to unseal the underlying exhibits that were shown to the grand jury. The filing asks that the judges give the government until Friday to share its position on the issue. So that they don't know if they want to. So they're not going to release.
Oh, it's a lot of hype for more bullshit, isn't it?
Yes. It also said that the Justice Department identified some information in the Maxwell case that has not previously been made public, but that the bulk of the information is already known. Okay. The unclosed annotated transcripts show that much of the information provided during the course of the grand jury testimony, with the exception of the identities of certain victims and witnesses, was made publicly available at trial or has otherwise been publicly reported through the public statements of victims and witnesses, the filing said. Lawyers for Maxwell, meanwhile, submitted a filing Tuesday urging the judge not to unseal the transcript, citing her pending appeal of her conviction to the U.S. Supreme Court. Huh. Can we just stop right now pretending that in any way Pam Bondi and the Trump administration are trying to protect the victims of the Epstein file? Come on. You're protecting the perpetrators and everybody knows it. So
I'm waiting for phase 2, Jimmy, of the Epstein reveal.
So yeah, what do you think that is?
I don't know. Probably Galactus.
Yeah, I think
It's MCU shit.
I think Ghislaine is going to play the Trump card, if you know what I mean.
No, that would be cool.
Yeah. Jeffrey Epstein is dead. Ghislaine Maxwell is not, it said. Whatever interest the public may have in Epstein, the interest cannot justify a broad intrusion into grand jury secrecy in a case where the defendant is alive, her legal options are viable, and her due process rights remain.
Why? Yes, they can. They do that all the time.
I know. An attorney for one of Epstein and Maxwell's victims sent her own letter Tuesday urging the judges to release the transcripts and not to shield anyone else who may be implicated in their crimes. So that answers the question, what is slightly above an Epstein client? Maxwell's defense lawyer. How about that? Which is basically like saying dog shit is slightly better than cat shit. By the government's admission, over 1,000 victims suffered from Epstein's and Maxwell's actions. To date, however, the combined forces of our country's law enforcement agencies have only ever arrested these two individuals in connection with crimes committed against countless young women and girls. And the government's recent suggestion that no further criminal investigations are forthcoming is a cowardly abdication of its duties to protect and serve, Attorney Sigrid S. McCauley wrote in one of the letters. Any effort to redact third-party names smacks of a cover-up, she added. Yeah, of course it does.
Oh, does it? I feel like I'm in a goddamn Groundhog Day with every story that we do.
So, and when you better start paying attention when something smacks of a cover-up, because it doesn't just reek of a cover-up, it's reaching up and slapping you in your bitch face. Pow! Maxwell was transferred from a prison in Florida to minimum security prison in Texas shortly after she sat for a 2-day interview with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. The Trump administration is considering releasing the transcripts of that interview. They're considering it. We're leaning towards transparency. We're leaning that way. Yeah, okay. But they're going to let her out and let her get a star on Hollywood Boulevard, right? That's what's next for Ghislaine Maxwell?
Oh, that's my fondest wish. I wish her well, and that's what I wish for her.
That's what I wish for her.
And you know what else I wish for, Jimmy? Justice for Jeffrey.
Yeah. So here's their subpoena dates. Hillary Clinton, October 9th. Bill Clinton, October 14th. Merrick Garland, October 2nd. James Comey, October 7th. Bill Barr, August 18th. Alberto Gonzalez, August 26th. And, right before that, August 24th, I'm going to be in Rutherford, New Jersey, and then in Manhattan telling jokes. And then after that, we go to Calgary, Vancouver, and Edmonton.
Wait, Bill Burr is subpoenaed, it says. Oh, I'm sorry. This says Barr.
Bill Barr, not Bill Burr.
Sorry, not Bill Burr.
Alberto Gonzalez. So then there it is. There's all the dates. August 26th, September. So, look at that. It'll be interesting. That'll be interesting. So we have to come up with some new and inventive distractions for them to use on us before these cases come to trial. How about
aliens?
How about releasing the genetically altered chimpanzees with human intelligence like Planet of the Apes?
Do they? I'm for that.
Pete,
I want to see something released that's big, Jimmy, not just crap they put out.
I'm saying that. I'm sure they have the altered chimpanzees with that could take over the planet, like in Planet of the Apes. PETA would welcome that takeover, I bet.
Yes.
How about tuning the cell phones all across America to control everything we say, like a scene with Steve Carell from Liar Liar? How about that?
Nice. That's part 2 of Liar Liar, actually.
Weird that James Comey decided to subpoena Bill and Hillary Clinton in the House Jeffrey Epstein probe, and not Trump's former labor secretary, Alex Acosta, who literally gave Epstein a sweetheart deal as a federal prosecutor in 2000. James Comer.
Alex Acosta don't have no choice. Like, that's why he should get no punishment, because he literally said what happened, and now we all got to scramble to pretend he didn't say that, but he did say it.
He did say it.
So they're not going to bring him out, because if you're Alex Acosta,
it gives the game away. It gives the game away.
You're going to go against Intel when they tell you stay away from this, as Alex Acosta.
And it would be too embarrassing for Alex Acosta to be at a hearing in Congress and someone ask him, hey, why did you say that you were told Jeffrey Epstein is intelligence, meaning in the CIA or FBI? Why were you and that you couldn't prosecute him? Why did you say that? Who gave you that order? They can't have him say that.
Of course. That's why.
Yeah. Because then
if Trump can't say, can he say?
Right.
If Trump isn't going to come clean and tell you that your entire country is run by some kind of insane sexual vampires, do you think Alex Acosta is going to be the one?
No. All right, over to stuff.
Okay. Hemcar says we're all eating nanotechnology. PBS says, and there's no test to see if it's safe. Thank you for the link for that one, Hemcar. Rest in peace, Lonnie Anderson of WKRP, the Sydney Sweeney of my father's generation. Kids Corner. Guess who I am? FJUTube. We want the names on the Epstein list. FJUTube. Trump starts nuclear war in second term. Bingo. JUTube. Thank you. Jimmy Dore. We all are Americans and we all need the same things. Good schools, good jobs, healthcare, legal pot. 3 out of 4 ain't bad. Thank you, John. Howard Stern. Bing might be canceled according to the New York Post. His $500 million is ending and worried it won't be renewed. How much money do you need exactly? The Colbert effect is happening. Don't turn your back on your legacy to be a shill. Kids Corner. Everyone going to have their government IDs ready to access the internet by 2026 via Kids Prime. Whoa. Copernicus, what's up with the 600 million population missing in China? COVID, new disease, or CCP sold their people to graze for technology hacks? Splinkster. Oh, here we got a big gong. Hold on. Jimmy, the real schneid. Hang in there, tough guy. Here we go. Isn't it funny how when Trump was running for president, superstars were all like leaving the country, but now there's a potential Epstein connection and all of them don't demand a thing. Rum tech.
Well, Ellen's coming back now that Diddy's going to be okay.
Say it again.
Ellen DeGeneres is coming back now that Diddy's going to be okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, back to Jimmy.